just so I can show you why I'm surprised this is the less sought after version of this thing. Also, somebody's fire alarm in the neighborhood is going off again. Someone must be trying to cook.
I don't know why, but like just that felt like an unintentional burn because it's like, oh, the fire alarm's going off. Someone must be trying to cook.
I wish it was an unintentional burn. Maybe it kind of also is that, but like it is more an observation. Like in the neighborhood we live in, it's like the smoke detectors aren't quite hooked up right. Ours have gone off multiple times when we were trying to cook like larger things in the oven.
Right.
It's why we don't have meatloaf as often anymore.
We had meatloaf the other day. I miss meatloaf. I'm glad we had it.
Let me put it to you this way. If we ever have meatloaf, we have to have someone with a towel or a small blanket on standby ready to fan the smoke alarm so it doesn't freak out.
Damn.
I have had the smoke alarm go off more than once just trying to make scrambled eggs.
So, looking at my screen, you can probably tell I've been playing a lot of Donkey Kong.
I noticed.
I got spoiled in the best way possible. I learned who the final boss is. Hello?
Listening?
Oh. I learned who the final boss is, and it's been like 25 years, but King K. Rool of the Kremlin crew is back to throw down.
First he makes his grand return in Smash Bros, and now this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little disappointed it's not Mario with a whip, but hey, we can't all be Donkey Kong Jr.
And, apparently the explanation for, like, where he's been is that he's been stuck in the planet's core for the last 25 years.
Yeah, anybody'd be pissed off after that.
Which would also explain all the alligator or crocodile skeletons.
Yeah, it would. So did you see that new sound wave?
Yeah, I did.
Did you see my reaction?
Yes. Mine?
Fun fact, that's also usually what I hear out of any players I go against when I'm playing Medic.
Alright. Bottom half of Devastator fell off my desk, so let me grab that. I didn't realize that you could just slap on like the extra Devastator pieces onto the waist. when it's turned into its little trailer mode.
Neat.
So, like, I know you can put the hands on there. They turn into, like, little cannons or, like, guns. But for Devastator's, like, crest, you can put the center part underneath the trailer, and it serves as, like, a way to steady it more.
You know, I just thought of something. I'm going to take a moment to take a here. Why don't I have you hold this? You know, this almost makes more sense than Transmetal 2 Megatron holding it. His little flame effect piece for the dragon's mouth, they advertise you being able to use it as like a flaming club in robot mode, and I don't know why, but for some reason, it almost makes more sense for the Fallen to hold it.
Taro is screaming and says, "Almost there!" Also, yeah. Why wouldn't the guy who's perpetually on fire use fire as a club?
And then there is the one last thing I was going to mention, and that's the bot I will be aiming for next once I have some time to save. Particularly after we move. I've waited long enough for this. I am going after Studio Series Magnus.
Go. I wish you luck.
BBTS has it in stock. And has had it for a while.
Wait, Taro, what do you mean your bus abandoned you? I also love how, like, after I said that, Megamon starts a coughing fit.
Unintentionally well timed.
All right. He says he'll tell us when he gets there. All right.
I'm going to be right back here. My cold is demanding attention.
All right. We do that. I'll do the intro. Hello, Internet. Welcome back to the cave. Vegas Bear here, as always, with Mekumon, who just ran off to get some medicine. And Taro, who was abandoned by the bus. He will be here momentarily. It is a soggy Tuesday afternoon today here. I say soggy because it's been raining nonstop.
I return.
Welcome back. And today we are playing Doom 64. Also, you may have noticed I also caved and bought Silk Song. This is not
Oh, so you did.
not because of all the Silk Song hype. It's because I like Hollow Knight. If anything, like I would have kept off from purchasing that just to spite the Silk Song fans, because every time there's like a game there's a Summer Game Fest, the video game awards, every time or Nintendo Direct, every time they show off something new and like
Silk Song when?
yes, Silk Song when, it's like, oh my god, shut the fuck up.
It reminds me of the precise response I would have hoped to use. Mr. Carr, we get there when we get there!
Yeah. I've always been a fan of Hollow Knight, so of course I'll support Team Cherry. These fans, man. And of course, now that Silksong is out, the entire game industry is shitting their pants because it's a $20, it's an amazing $20 game made by 3 people. 3. Whereas the latest AAA developed game has like
Massive crew behind it.
a massive crew behind it and it still doesn't work right. I reset the Elgato, so I need to change the audio again. There we go. That should be better.
Alright, I'm gonna send you a picture of what I just did with my copy of The Fallen, and we'll see how it goes.
Alright.
And take the picture. There we go. My camera's so laggy some days.
Damn, Bethesda Net trying to dox me in real life.
Because we spoke ill of their crew.
It doesn't just work, Todd Coward.
Here it is. Put it in the stream chat here.
Ooh. Ooh, he looked pretty.
Yeah, this is what I meant when I said one of the effect parts that came out of his box was unusable. You might notice one is missing.
Yeah.
I might actually swap the gun barrel on his back to his other arm. Because you can barely even see it back there. Not bad. A version of the Fallen with a cannon on each arm actually doesn't look too bad. And either way, Rodimus is going to have to fight that. And the game starts.
Yep. Now I just gotta remember how to fucking play it.
Kraken just wished you the best of luck in her own way. It's Tuesday, so she's home.
That makes me curious as what she actually said.
Ye who are about to die, we salute you.
Joke's on her, I have invulnerability. But
Hey,
also,
she doesn't know that. She's in the other room playing Minecraft.
fair enough. So, if I remember the story, yes, Doom has story, correctly, the Doom guy has
fought his way out of hell for the second time.
yes, and I believe he went back in.
We just finished his extremely long swath of revenge, avenging his pet rabbit. Justice for Daisy.
Hashtag Justice for Daisy. Alright. Following the Doom Marine's success at thwarting Hell in Doom 1, Doom 2, Hell on Earth, and in the final Doom storyline, which I don't think I can get Final Doom. A quarantine is established on the UAC research installations with apocalyptic levels of radiation. For years, the installation stood abandoned, until a barely functioning satellite monitoring one of them sends a message back to Earth. This message indicates that a single entity with vast rejuvenation powers was masked by the radiation and escaped detection. The entity was able to resurrect the demons by altering decaying dead carnage back into corrupted living tissue. As the only experienced survivor of the Doom episodes, the Marine is sent in alone to exterminate them. However, the Marine realizes the demons have planned to lure him back into Hell. They are nonetheless unable to defeat him, and with the Unmaker, he eventually battles and kills the Mother Demon. The game ends with the Marine, no longer capable of having a normal life following his encounters with Hell's forces, deciding to remain in Hell forever to ensure no demon ever rises again. That makes sense. Wait. In the Lost Levels from the 2020 remaster, the story continues as the Mother Demon was revealed to have a sister called the Resurrector. It banishes the Marine back to a UAC base, forcing him to fight his way back to Hell to stop the demons. It branches the storyline between the original games with 2016 reboot of Doom and Doom Eternal. I guess we're gonna have to do the Lost Levels too.
I look forward to eventually getting to tackle the the modern Doom games, because I've played 2016 and Eternal, and they're fun.
The Dark Ages is also really great. Is there nothing left to do it? Okay.
So, one last Transformer thing I wish to bring up since I have it in front of me. I stumbled onto a fan theory that was intended to further explain why Galvatron went insane in Season 3.
Okay.
Because evidently, the explanation they gave in Season 3 proper just wasn't sufficient. For those that don't know, the actual explanation given in Season 3 was that after Galvatron was thrown out of Unicron, spoilers for a 39-year-old movie, he landed on a plasma-laden planetoid called Thrall, where the constant exposure to plasma energy in some form or another fried his circuits. He essentially received brain damage from prolonged exposure to this planet. Like, it sounds incredibly rough when I put it that way, but that is effectively what happened.
Would also explain his very vast, change in personality between the movie and Season 3.
The intention of explaining that personality change further for this fan theory was suggesting that whatever was left of Megatron inside of Galvatron died the instant Unicron tortured him into taking on Hot Rod at the end of the movie.
I can believe that.
The idea being that that last bit of torture was erasing what was left of Megatron's mind and turning Galvatron into a puppet. I have one quote to argue against that and shatter your entire theory. First Prime, then Ultra Magnus, and now you. It's a pity you Autobots die so easily, or I might have a sense of satisfaction now.
Right.
No, his personality is still there. It's just that, like most Decepticons, Megatron cannot handle a little bit of torture and gets thrown right into Unicron's thrall. Plus, are we really going to complain that it took a dark god to make Megatron submit?
That reminds me of the. Oh, wait a minute. This has motion controls on. Ew.
Ew.
Controller. Gyroscope off. There we go. So yeah,
You were saying?
that reminds me of Siths in Star Wars. They keep boasting about how they're so much stronger than, say, the Jedi. Bitch, you buckled under torture.
Not to any, not to in any capacity undermine the severity of torture, mind you.
Absolutely. Like, I'm sorry if it came off that way. I just mean that, like,
I mean, I'm just as guilty.
you take one little blowtorch to their kneecap and suddenly they pledge themselves to the dark side.
Like, say what you will about Anakin's fall to the dark side, at least it was prolonged mental instability and constant stress and paranoia that did it.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, all the Inquisitors tortured into submission.
Which, again, not to diminish how fucked up
Yes.
that is.
That is very fucked up. But they're essentially boasting about how they're stronger with the dark side of the Force after being relentlessly tortured. There's something wrong with that.
I'm better than you because I can take a punch. That is severely downplaying what they're saying, but that is effectively what they're saying. Proceeds to not handle taking a punch.
Yeah. So, like, I've gone over this before, but the Jedi Order are incompetent.
At least as of the prequel films.
Yes, as of the prequel films. They're incompetent, and they are essentially high elves, thinking they're so much better than everyone else when they're not. Meanwhile,
Well, Palpatine was hiding himself from their ability to sense him. Did we watch the same movies? Dude was barely hiding at all.
Meanwhile, the Sith, you leave the Sith alone, they'll tear themselves apart within a month.
Like, there's a reason the rule of two exists. Their entire shtick is, in and of itself, unsustainable.
Yep. And even with the rule of 2, it barely works.
This is literally the difference between the Decepticons and the Sith for me. If I had to join one or the other, at the very least, the Decepticons understand the concept of teamwork, even if they don't necessarily like it.
Yeah. The Sith are always, like, especially in, like, the Old Republic games, they're always trying to backstab each other. It's like, if I just left you all alone, your empire would fall within, like, 2 months.
I'm surprised that the Empire we got in Star Wars lasted for the nearly 20 years it did.
That's because, for the most part, it was Palpatine and Vader with a bunch of Inquisitors that were eventually wiped out for the very reasons I was talking about. Trying to backstab each other. And anytime a new Sith arose, they usually got their shit rocked by a Jedi survivor.
I'm gonna make a Fallout comparison here, and I'm going to need my iced tea close by so I can wash the disgusting taste away, but if I had to compare the Decepticons, as I've been using them as my benchmark here, to a comparable faction that is more sustainable than the Sith, oh, Primus, forgive me, I think they're closer to Caesar's Legion in Fallout New Vegas.
Oh my god.
Effectively a cult of personality held together by one individual that the instant that individual is gone, they will start tearing themselves apart.
It is essentially that video of the woman with, like, she has a blanket and she has, like, 2 little, like, tiny dogs, like Yorkshire Terriers or whatever, and she's, like, playing, like, peekaboo with them with the blanket. She pulls the blanket up and then drops it and, like, runs out of view. She's, like, in a door frame, so it looks like she disappeared. The dogs just look and then immediately start attacking each other.
Like, I make this comparison because that's really what the Decepticons were doing in Generation 1. And some other universes too, but I'm focusing mainly on G1 for the moment because, you know, like it or not, that is the primary canon. It is to Transformers as the Universal Century is to Gundam.
Yep. Fuck!
Bless you.
Thank you!
Like, Megatron's gone, and the Decepticons succumb to infighting. Only really reunited once Galvatron shows up. Now, we can only speculate what the Decepticons under Starscream's rule would have been like, but knowing what G1 Screamer was like, I imagine it's going to go very similarly to Fall of Cybertron. For those who have not played that game, spoiler alert, but Starscream wasted their resources in a near compulsive need to self-worship. Blamed everyone but himself for his own failures, and the cons were inevitably going to revolt against him. It just happened that Megatron was resurrected first. I'm treating Fall of Cybertron as a separate entity from Transformers Prime, despite their canonically being the same timeline, because the game's own developers don't acknowledge them as the same timeline. they really only wound up together because Hasbro shoehorned them together.
Yep.
This is why half the fan base doesn't believe the aligned continuity even exists.
That's why for the Transformers D&D, I'm kind of doing my own thing.
And I am thankful for it, because that's fewer headaches.
There will be some elements, obviously, but...
Like, I promise you, if you had read those books I gave to Deva, you would be pretty pissed off what happens to the majority of the Seekers.
Yeah, and because I haven't read those books, the Seekers are still alive.
Yeah.
Shit.
Starscream basically had the majority of them cut off in a bid for job security.
You know what? That does sound like Starscream.
That's the problem. It's a character, and I hate it. Especially because the books are leaning closer into their depictions of these characters in Transformers Prime than they did in, say, the War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron video games. Despite their function as, attempting to bridge the games with the TV show. They legit say that Starscream is only with the Decepticons because he stowed away on the Nemesis prior to its launch, and managed to keep himself hidden with his cloaking technology during the battle that had ensued when they left Cybertron.
Press X to doubt.
When they ended up on the other side of that portal they got sucked into, instead of being in the vicinity of Earth, they were somewhere else entirely because the portal was unstable and the coordinates were shifting. Starscream got caught, and instead of terminating him there and then, Megatron, wounded and needing to recount how many troops he has, decides, okay, you stay, but I'm keeping a close eye on you. Because despite what Starscream did, he technically didn't betray Megatron so much as just step in during a power vacuum. He didn't pull any Transformers the movie bullshit, is what I'm getting at. Despite clearly attempting to reference that scene in the movie with Megatron's return. It's why Starscream decided to wipe out anybody who could have been a threat to his former post as second-in-command, i.e., the other Seekers. If someone else could take his place as Air Commander, what will Megatron do to me?
Yeah,
You see him pull this exact same stunt with certain other Decepticon SICs in Prime. But I'm getting off topic.
Yeah, no, We're gonna have Seekers.
And I'm thankful for that, because they are basically the closest thing to generic Decepticons that they have. Short of using a bunch of recolored reflectors.
Or the Viacons.
Well, or the Viacons, for that matter, but, the Viacons were a more recent thing.
Oh. Okay.
So, what I was saying about the cons basically falling apart without Megatron. End of the movie, Galvatron's been tossed into the ether, lands on Thrall, gets his whole, processor damage bullshit. Look at what happened to the Decepticons. Forced off Cybertron without a leader to coordinate them in the aftermath of the movie, especially after a good chunk of them fled Unicron's attack in the first place. I am convinced there was still some fighting for Cybertron alongside the Dinobots, and I will not be convinced otherwise. Well, you saw the state of the cons on Char.
Yeah, I did. They were one step away from Lord of the Flies.
They were desperate and starving. Astro Train comes back with 2 Energon cubes, and they start swarming over them. Astro Train himself can barely transform and only makes it about halfway to robot mode, doesn't have legs in this particular configuration, and has to drag himself like a dismembered zombie just to get at one of the cubes. And the Constructicons, seeing that the guy who was necessary for bringing them the Energon in the first place is trying to refuel, decide to steal the fuel.
No one ever said that. No one ever said that G1 Decepticons were smart.
Like I said, desperate. They're not thinking. The instant Cyclonus shows up and asserts dominance and starts giving orders, they start falling in line. Even more so when they return with Galvatron.
Which honestly was probably the biggest mistake they could have made.
This is why my big diversion for G1 it hinges on the moment Rodimus saw the state of the cons on Char. So in the 5-part special, 5 Faces of Darkness, Rodimus and Grimlock go to Char to see if the Decepticons had managed to kidnap some of their buddies, unaware at the time that this was a Quintesson thing. And in Rodimus' own words, I never thought I'd feel sorry for the Decepticons. These guys are hurting. Which, first off, proves that there's more depth to him than just, I don't deserve this job. He does have a degree of empathy. Further proving why he is a good fit for the Autobot Supreme Commander there, because, you know, he cares about not just his own troops, but also the people they're fighting and would rather talk them out of it.
Hence what gave me the idea for Odyssey.
But, like, to lead things into Odyssey, this is precisely what it, you know, kind of sparked that Cybertronian alliance. With Galvatron off doing his own crazy stuff, Rodimus decides to contact a few of the Decepticons still on Char. He plants the seeds for a deal that, you know, we don't like Galvatron. You sure as hell don't like Galvatron. We have the capacity to make more Energon. If you want to come back and live here, we can settle this war here and now. No one has to die. No one has to shoot. We can just talk this out. And there was a bit of a schism with the Decepticons because of this. There are plenty who were still loyal to Galvatron, either out of fear or just blindness.
Looking at you, Cyclonus.
And even then, if you look at its later Season 3 episodes, even Cyclonus started to doubt Galvatron a little bit. Why else would he attempt to get Galvatron some mental help? Only to realize the planet they went to for that help was basically a glorified lobotomy planet.
I mean, would he be any worse if they gave him a lobotomy?
Well, it was arguably the one thing Galvatron was actually scared of. being rendered incapable of acting on his own, just kind of sitting there, unable to, think or emote or be himself.
Yeah, no,
He'd basically be a potted plant.
Yeah, no, that's terrifying. Fuck that.
Yeah. It was about that terrifying in the real world, too. It would make Galvatron a lot more docile and arguably remove him as a threat. But I guarantee you, even the Autobots would be going, no, let's get him out of that. There'd be some grumbling among the ranks, but they'd still free him because that's just sick. So, a Galvatron loyalist faction headed by Cyclonus leaves Char to search for the still currently missing Galvatron, who, depending on who you ask, either vanished in the aftermath of a huge battle with Rodimus Prime, or simply left to find a new power source for the Decepticons as he was the only one who could make the trip. In his own words. His own incredibly crazy, unreliable words.
Or he's dead.
The majority of bots are hoping for that one. I could probably see Rodimus still having nightmares about him.
In my head, the idea for that final battle was Optimus and Rodimus fighting Galvatron together.
I like to think that may have been the first and to date only time Rodimus manifested Optimus's Energon axe.
Yes!
I know that Matrix bearers can do that. Thank you, Transformers 1, for basically adding this lore to the Matrix, which carries over from universe to universe, but, Matrix bearers can manifest each other's weapons and skills. Optimus's own act came from a previous Prime.
I love that. I love that so much.
But also, that very axe.
The axe, the whoa, what? Okay. Strobe lights!
We probably should have included an epilepsy warning.
Yeah, probably.
A bit late now. Assuming you did the instinctive right thing and looked away when the strobing started, we will let you know when it's safe to look.
Yeah. Oh, thank God. Alright, it's okay to look.
For now. We don't know if we'll have to go back in there.
God, I hope not.
I'm not epileptic, but that still hurt my eyes.
Same. But yeah, the idea I had for the final battle is that something happened during that fight that neither Rodimus or Optimus will talk about.
It's even been stricken from the Hall of Records.
Something happened during that fight that would have been so damning. It might have kept the war going. Maybe.
That is an entire possibility, but again, nobody will talk about it.
I can and I will, though. During the final battle, a few good hits to the head. I mean, solid hits to the head Galvatron suddenly starts acting different. He starts sounding more like Megatron than Galvatron. And very soon he becomes very, very sane.
Oh my god, he finally got bored of the insanity.
Basically,
Ben 10 fans,
yes.
you're welcome.
How the fuck am I supposed to get that switch? By shooting? Wait. No.
It did flash green when you hit it. See?
Yeah. Wait a minute. What did that do? I don't think it did anything.
Now, before we get to Bear's own take, I did have some suggestions of my own in regards to why it took Optimus and Rodimus both taking on Galvatron. Beyond the fact that Galvatron is just canonically more powerful than Megatron, I like to think he found a little something. An energy source in the remains of Unicron. One of the handful of places that no other bot would dare to go.
Oh, hey, the alarm is gone. Yay.
We're good. So, this energy source goes by a great many names. Some call it Anglamwatt energy, others call it Dark Energon, the blood of Unicron, Anti-Spark. Whatever it is, it does not like ordinary Cybertronians. For other bots, it's like a poison. For Galvatron, it's like some kind of power-up. Because he, like a few of his followers, were rebuilt by Unicron and thus empowered by him and the byproduct thereof.
So he got a hold of Dark Energon.
Yeah, that was the general idea I had, yes.
Crazy motherfucker would use it too.
You might want to check out memes for a second.
Oh, God. That Rodimus one, oh my goodness.
Have a perfect response to must obtain beam. means I gotta look away from the laptop and get my phone for a moment. There we go. Notice of meme acquisition. The purpose of this notice is to inform you that the meme you have posted has been saved to the mobile device of the person or persons posting this notice. No further action is required. So, yeah, that was generally my idea. Galvatron got a hold of some dark energon, powered himself up, possibly forged a weapon out of it, be it a sword or a mace or a flail, something familiar to the Megatron side of him. And because he's got that Unicronian power coursing through his veins, all it took was one good clock to the head to kind of fix some damage. He's getting stronger because the Dark Energon is, in effect, slowly repairing him. Because, again, product of Unicron. As for whether Unicron would be conscious enough to do anything about it or not, because he was very much awake last time we saw him in Ghost in the Machine, I'm gonna side on no. And there's a reason for that. Yes, he did get some degree of repairs. Yes, he got the eyes of Metroplex. Well, one from Metroplex and one from Trypticon. But the thing is, the Autobots loaded up a bunch of explosives and energon cubes for added boom and sent him hurtling back into orbit after Starscream, possessing Trypticon's body in the process, brought it to Cybertron's surface. Unicron got knocked out by another explosion and has just kind of been resting ever since.
You gotta admit, it's pretty metal. In one of the many Transformers universes, they have the devil figure of their mythology as a moon. The beheaded.
I'd say more than one figure. Because there are some splinters. There are some splinter timelines off of the original cartoon that also have Unicron's head as a moon.
You gotta admit, that is metal as fuck.
Mm-hmm. And the bot responsible for that is currently operating as one of 3 heads of a council. Just trying to rebuild the planet.
Funny to think about.
I'm certain someone was gonna try to troll Rodimus fans with, well, technically Rodimus didn't destroy Unicron, the Matrix did. And who opened the Matrix? That's like... It has all the energy of the people don't kill people, guns kill people arguments.
Wait.
It is literally the exact opposite of the argument you typically hear.
Oh. Because I was going to say, like, people kill people.
And in this particular case, it was the Chosen One who slew the devil figure of the Transformers mythology. The weapon with which he did it is important to the story, but it is not the sole deciding factor. Fun fact, there are some earlier, albeit incomplete, drafts of the movie in its earlier development stages that we can take a look at. And in one particular draft, we don't actually have the Matrix of Leadership as we know it.
Oh.
The item that would eventually become the Matrix of Leadership as we know it was Optimus Prime's Life Spark. Effectively, Optimus Prime's soul made physically manifest.
Well, shit.
Galvatron would have come to be because, well... Okay, so you recall how in TF Redux I described Megatron getting jettisoned out of Astro Train? Well, not even getting jettisoned, just dying before Astro Train could reach Cybertron?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think I got that?
Oh, in one of the drafts, he just straight up died.
Megatron straight up dies because of the conflict over leadership. He is not being tended to. Instead of his life spark, again, earliest version of the spark as we know it in Transformers, being contained in a specialized case to be stored in the Decepticon Hall of Heroes with the other previous leaders. That's what those purple flames were in the bases of those statues, by the way.
Shit!
Yeah. You could argue that's the earliest animated depiction of a Transformers spark. In the draft of the movie that we got, they weren't, but at one point they were going to be. Instead of being housed in one of those, Megatron's life spark, as the draft calls it, would have just started drifting aimlessly through the depths of space, untouchable. Until it came across a strange planet. Who may or may not have bargained with the disembodied soul. It honestly depends on which version of the draft you're looking at. Some versions, they don't even bargain. Unicron just straight up remakes him. And I gotta tell you, remember how the sweeps are referred to as Scourge's huntsmen? They really lived up to that in the earlier versions of this script.
Oh?
Imagine, if you will, the sweeps are not just reuses of Scourge's character model. They are colored black, and they have no faces. Just that weird sensor thing on the top of Scourge's head as their head.
Okay, that's terrifying.
They don't speak. They just seek out and destroy Autobots on sight. Which is precisely what they did in this draft. Daniel took over the Earth in the process, forcing the Autobots to scatter in order to make hunting them down that much harder. It took everything they had to coordinate the construction of a shuttle to escape the Earth so the sweeps couldn't wipe them all out. What makes it even more terrifying, this early script, is its depiction of Unicron. First off, the planet still has the name, but its robot mode does not.
Oh.
In one of the sillier Transformers names, the robot mode would have been called Ingestor. But what makes this version of Unicron more terrifying, even than the one we got, is that the planet mode is habitable. There's nothing there, but it's habitable.
Oh, fuck.
Imagine if the Earth in Transformers Prime still had Unicron's toothy maw, horns, and ring, and all of the plant life, but no humans, no wildlife, no animals, which, again, wildlife, but still, nothing more advanced than plants. And yet, there are still buildings. There's still buildings and evidence that a civilization used to live here, but there's no remains of any bodies or anything. It's all empty. That was the OG Unicron before the draft
Shit.
And that is the Unicron I write in my Transformers Universe throwbacks. Arguably, this version of Unicron got its biggest tribute in the IDW iteration, where the planet mode would get continuously bigger as it incorporated mass from the planets it consumed to itself. The deeper in you get, you'd see more and more, like, ruins and debris of the planets that this Unicron had consumed.
Oh boy.
Difference is, you'd actually see the bodies. Largely because the planets this Unicron consumes were Cybertronian colonies exclusively. The Cybertronians didn't decompose. Yeah, there's the, like, in case you haven't gotten the point yet, the Chaos Bringer is pretty much the most horrifying thing in Transformers mythos.
That reminds me. You want to hear the lore that came up for the Elder Cons?
By all means, I've been chattering on long enough.
So, in one universe, Unicron decided to try his hand at creating. The result were the Elder Cons. However, just the mere thought of the Chaos Bringer, the epitome of destruction, creating something, just felt so wrong.
I'm assuming this led to Unicron banishing a lot of them.
Yes. However, this would prove to be a bad idea. The children of Unicron would eventually come back and devour their creator.
The consumer becomes the consumed. How ironic.
It gets worse.
Of course it does.
Because This is like in this universe. Like this is before before Primus created the 13. So, well, as he was creating the 13. So, with Unicron suddenly gone, the 13 were kind of, well, not out of a job, but they ended up becoming leaders of different parts of Cybertron. Cybertron enjoyed a true golden age. No conflict, no war, no quintessons. Megatronus never even fell. And that's when the Elder Cons show up. The planet of Cybertron exists no longer.
Egad.
The Cybertronians exist no longer.
You know, it's a good thing that the Universal Singularity thing got separated, because prior to the Shroud, the death of Primus would have resulted in the collapse of that dimension.
So yeah, good thing for that.
Imagine, though, if this took place pre-Shroud, that would technically be a win for Unicron.
Technically. But yeah, there are no Autobots or Decepticons in this timeline because they're all dead.
You've said it before, and I will parrot this back. It is the nicest people, the most good people you find, that come up with the most horrifying shit imaginable.
Eventually, the Elder Cons found their way to Earth with a ship that they built. They were going to do to Earth what they did to Unicron and Cybertron, but that didn't happen. They crashed before it could happen. Now, if things had gone the way they were supposed to, the Elder Cons would have eventually woken
Stop
up.
moving.
Thank you.
Proceed.
The Elder Cons would eventually, they would infest the minds of the planet's inhabitants, the lesser minds of the planet's inhabitants, or actually no, the lesser minds and the creative minds. basically,
Arguably the greater minds.
yes. Basically, in this universe, basically the Cthulhu mythos, like, happened. It was real. To a degree.
I just love how technically my own, like, the Elder Cons were kind of partially my own idea, as I had come up with a sort of offshoot of the 2001 Robots in Disguise anime, where instead of, you know, a Predacon ship crashing, we had a ship of Cybertronian criminals who took on these absurd, bizarre, deranged alt modes that drove lesser minds to insanity. And the ship itself was named after a location in the Cthulhu mythos.
Mm-hmm.
And you took that and did all this.
Yep.
Like I said, the most good people come up with the most horrifying shit.
Yeah, they would have eventually devoured Earth as well had it not been for one key aspect.
That would be...
They got displaced.
Oh dear. You know, the hilarious part of this all is that this technically isn't even the first time Cybertronians have had to deal with Cthulhu-esque elder gods.
Yeah, I am aware.
For those who aren't, read Hearts of Steel, it's really good.
Fuck yeah, it is.
It's just unfortunate what happened to Hearts of Steel in relation to the rest of the greater IDW 1.0 continuity.
Yeah.
That's why we choose to ignore that part. On the one hand, it makes the achievements of some of these bots even more impressive, that these were effectively nameless nobodies that thought they were the big names.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, I really want to see Optimus Prime punch Cthulhu again.
Yeah, same.
On that note of the whole brainwashing thing and a random nobody who thought he was Optimus Prime, did you know that's a legitimate mental illness in Transformers?
Oh.
I'm probably gonna butcher the name, but it's something along the lines of Primus Apotheosis. Wanting to emulate Optimus Prime so badly that you try to become Optimus Prime.
Well, I'm gonna have to turn invisibility off. Invincibility, rather. Because I fell down a hole and I was not supposed to fall down that hole, so.
Common symptoms of bots who suffer this include making very similar long-winded speeches, modifying one's outer shell to take on Optimus Prime-esque attributes, and throwing yourself into danger at earliest convenience to who basically heroically sacrifice oneself for the good of the mission. Sufferers of Primus Apotheosis rarely live very long. And here's the kicker. It's not limited to Autobots.
Ah!
There are some Decepticons who suffer from it too.
Oh, that's funny.
Which, considering how the Decepticon movement started out emulating Optimus Prime as he would come to be known effectively as the embodiment of what the Decepticon movement originally wanted. Yeah, I can see that. I can see how that tracks.
Wait a minute, where'd the monster go? You're supposed to keep hitting me, motherfucker.
Fun fact, the word apotheosis, assuming I'm pronouncing it right, is an obscure term that relates to the transformation of a mortal into a god. Although this is likely meant to refer to the sufferers of the disease putting Optimus Prime on a high godlike pedestal, the fact that the original term was meant literally adds another level to the Prime as a Christ figure imagery that runs throughout the franchise. Known sufferers from the original IDW continuity include Earthquake, Pyro, Sure Shot, and possibly Getaway.
Huh.
Which, if Getaway does suffer from this illness, that just makes everything about him that much funnier. In a morbid way.
Yep.
Considering how he basically viewed himself as a chosen one. Let me put it to you this way. Everything the Optimus or Nothing style G1ers who complained about Rodimus existing claim Rodimus is, IDW Getaway actually was.
I remember IDW Getaway. I also remember how he died.
Yeah, everything people joke about G1 Rodimus being, IDW Getaway actually was. If he had the chance, he probably would have had Optimus Prime killed and then planted his own spark in Prime's chassis to take on the identity.
Luckily, he was too busy being devoured by Scraplets.
A nasty way to go, but a fitting one.
Scraplets that took the image of... I'm trying to remember who it was.
I just remember First Aid getting thrown in there.
Well, yeah, that was when he had the pool of Scraplets. But like, I'm talking about like near the end. He was like imagining like Primus or something like that, and he shook his hand, and it turned out to be a group of Scraplets just forming the shape of Primus.
Which, can we talk about just how insidiously scary the Scraplets are in IDW?
Yes.
Like, it's worse than how they're depicted in Transformers Prime, and I will stand on this hill. Because the ones in Transformers Prime, while they do appear cute at first until they see a Cybertron they want, these ones are intelligent enough to form together in colonies to imitate Cybertronians to lure others in. There was a story where a group of them melded together to disguise themselves as a still-forming protoform. This is the equivalent of human-eating insects swarming together to look like a baby to lure in adults.
That is fucked up.
It is.
Oh god. Oh god.
Careful there. There might be another switch you have to hit. Okay, I think I know what you gotta do. You're gonna have to hit that first... or not. Thank you, teleporters.
Fuck. Oh, wait! Wait, please. Yes! There were steps here the entire fucking time!
Curse you, dark areas!
Fuck.
I think what you might need to do is effectively activate both switches in a relatively rapid time frame.
What I need to do is activate that first switch, which will open up that door there, so that I can get to the second switch.
So, yeah, as we've established, there is some horrifying shit in Transformers.
Oh, yes.
Both fan-made and official. And the unintentional. In the Japanese Transformers G1 continuity, apparently Autobots liked humanity so much that when they developed later Teletrad models, 10 onwards, they modeled them after humans. These specific Teletrad units were basically pseudo... imagine, if you will, if Mainframe, who turns into Teletrad 1 for the Transformers Arc set, imagine if he was much smaller and encased in a human pretender shell.
Oh.
That is what Teletrans 10 and onward are for the Japanese G1 continuity.
Come on. Yes!
Booyah!
What'd that do? Open that, unlock the door.
Yes, it did.
The other door. Whew. Oh boy.
Again, yes, it did.
Unlock these doors too.
Sweetness. I call these unintentionally horrifying because, well, there was a very particular sense of humor involved with the mangas following Teletran 10 and onward. One such joke included Wheelie lifting the skirt off of one. And then probably getting kicked in the face by another Teletran.
Well, at least justice was served.
Or how in another encounter, this time with a Decepticon, it was the ludicrously insane Galvatron ripping the arm off one with his teeth.
Galvatron, your Getter Robo is showing.
We haven't joined.
Oh.
I'll save some of the other horrors here for after the stream because I cannot mention these in pleasant company.
What about unpleasant company? Could you mention them in red?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Let's just say it enjoys a very similar kind of shock humor to the one Transformers story that is universally hated.
Oh, that one.
Mm-hmm. I will retain that the only thing that was there were only 3 elements tops that were salvageable from that particular story. One of which we see relatively frequently enough. Auto Troopers do occasionally pop up from time to time.
I do like the Auto Troopers. It kind of gives the Autobots their own
equivalent to Viacons.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of making Prowl one of these guys who eventually developed his own individual personality is also a neat trick, but also one that's technically non-canon. The second element is, what if Optimus was brought back to life using a force that was primarily evil? This Optimus was plagued with constant nightmares and a struggle to maintain his sanity. Until eventually the force that had reanimated him was pulled out of his body and he once again collapsed dead. But this time at peace, knowing that the nightmares would stop. Friendly reminder that this story in Japanese G1 continuity takes place between the movie and Season 3, so Dark Awakening has not happened yet. Oh, poor Prime, the nightmares will not end for a few years. The third element of the story I feel is salvageable is the idea of Rodimus temporarily handing the Matrix over to Ultra Magnus and going to Earth for a bit of soul searching, effectively to make peace with himself.
Okay.
Another that probably could be good in the right hands is the idea of the Autobots accidentally causing a disaster that turns the general, human public against them. But that honestly depends on the skill of the writer.
Yo, J. Jonah Jameson, get in here. We need you for something.
So, yeah, even in the worst of the worst, there's still something that's at least interesting to think about.
Speak. Oh. Hello? I hear Silas. It's garbled, though.
Hmm. Everything all right over there?
Oh.
Probably. There we go.
Must be having mic trouble.
So how be the Silas
Ow.
today? Yeah, we can hear you now. How be the Silas today?
I'm good. I just got invited to see Demon Slayer's new movie,
Nice.
Sweet.
and they're willing to pay the ticket for me because I have no money.
Even sweeter.
I
Free
literally
movie.
have out and still hasn't received out with me on the date, so I'm not sure if it's a good sign or not.
Well, fingers crossed.
Everything.
Okay, you're garbling in and out again.
Damn it.
We heard something about a movie that you, or the person joining you was paying for.
I believe it's a Demon Slayer movie.
Give me a second.
Technical difficulties, folks. Wouldn't be a normal stream day without them.
Yep.
Okay, is that better?
A little bit, yeah.
Much.
What is wrong with my mic? There's a girl I literally asked out. She still hasn't responded if she wants to date me, but she invited me to go see Demon Slayer and is willing to pay the movie ticket.
Damn.
Like I said, fingers crossed.
Yeah. And it's tomorrow. She just invited me just a bit ago while I was on the stream with you guys trying to like chat, but Sean was was talking about Transformers and my mic was not working.
You heard it here first, folks. Silas got a date live on stream.
Woo! Where's that golf clap? All the best of luck.
Same. Ah, she's muffled again.
God damn it.
They are muffled again.
I think you might just need a new headset. Like just a standard pair of headphones with a new mic. That's probably all you need. Because trust me, been there, done that, got the t-shirt.
We can kind of hear you.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
It
I have
comes.
to put some headset.
Like, it
I've been
comes in
doing
and out a
speaker
little
on my. If the speaker on my phone's not quite working, with Discord at least. So I switched to my Bluetooth headphones.
Well, it's much clearer than it was.
Damn, and I got these on AliExpress. No, Temu. I got these on Temu.
The headphones?
Why did I find decent headphones? Yes. It's a pair of over-the-ear earbuds where they kind of curve around your ear. I got them on Temu.
Are these the ones that you're currently using, or the ones that aren't working?
The ones I'm currently using. I was on my phone speaker.
Okay, that's surprising. Things from Temu usually don't work as well as they should.
Yeah, well, these charge very well.
My first
I
impulse-
switched these off on the ones that... Go ahead.
Sorry about that. I was gonna say that my first impulse was to ask why you'd even trust that site.
I've gotten a few, like, pins and random things from there for, like, family, but other than that... But yeah, the friend in question is a con friend who, like, her niece is always talking to me, and, like, I've talked to her every con. And mini convention, the Halloween party for dad. So I figured I'd ask them out. Because we vibe really well. She's been to my house once. Been trying to get her to come back, but like life just keeps happening.
As it do.
I also ordered a Corona plushie. So I'm gonna have my Corona to hug, and I'm happy because that character from Soul Eater deserves all the hugs. Okay, Mr. I have 99 problems and I don't know how to deal with them.
Right. If memory serves, I don't think either the manga or the show ever specify whether, like, what Corona was, so, like, I obviously just refer to them by they, them.
Yes. Like I said, there was Miss Person, I've got 99 problems and I don't know how to deal with them.
I went to therapy
Your
once.
pants is girl.
Now my therapist needs therapy.
Oh, that's Corona's poem. Definitely. I want to sure because the picture I'm seeing of Bear actually playing the game because my screen froze. His controller was behind his head.
Yeah, I do
So,
that
like,
sometimes.
Is he auto playing Doom? Like what?
Yeah, so it's a habit that I formed long ago when my gaming setup was in the sitting room outside of my room. I had this big old couch that I'd play video games on, and I would pull the lever on the side, bring up the footrest, slide the back, stretch out, and just have a controller like this above my head, like above and behind my head on the couch. It's a habit I formed, and evidently it's hard to break. Not that I'm trying to break it. Missing something. There's a button that I need to press, and I don't know where it is.
I'd like to hear more about the Transformers Odyssey thing you're doing. What are some of your plans for the future?
Well, right now I have it in story arcs. It's how I'm able to like plan things. Like I have a start and beginning, or a start and an end in mind, and fill in the in between.
That is more defined than what I've got right now.
So for the first arc, for the first quote-unquote season, it's basically, it's the beginning. It's the crew coming together, learning to be a crew, learning to respect each other, and it's also Deathsaurus trying to invade Cybertron. There are also other stories going on, such as the Wreckers and Optimus coming back out of hiding. I say hiding, but really he just went back to a non-combat frame and changed his name.
He's effectively retired.
Yes. But the Wreckers force his hand. And season 2, quote unquote, would be G-Axis.
Oh, I've had some fun messing around with our respective interpretation of him.
As well as the Infernicons, I think they were called. The Rock People. The Rock Lords.
Yeah, I get you.
Now, this one would probably be more of a final arc. I'm not going to say season 3. I'm going to leave that as... I'm going to leave this as the potential finale. The appearance of the Elder Cons and the displacement of the 13 Primes. That feels more final season than anything else, you know?
Yeah, I hear you. As far as Transformers stories go, I do have one that I have planned for like 3 major quote-unquote seasons. Which I have... Well, I've given them code names based on which Transformers show I am taking the most inspiration from. For that respective arc. So, we've got Season 1, titled Armada. Season 2, titled Energon. And Season 3, which you'd think I titled Cybertron, but no.
Oh, damn.
This one I titled Odyssey.
Yo!
Because while it does take heavy inspiration from Transformers Cybertron, I felt Odyssey was the more fitting name due to the nature of the cast.
Okay.
So, recall how Megatron came back from the dead one more time in Transformers Cybertron?
Yeah.
He doesn't do that this time around. After the Energon sun goes up, he stays dead.
Yippee.
which allows for a certain pirate by the name of Thundertron to step in.
Ooh.
He's after some of the most rare and priceless treasures imaginable, which includes the Omega Lock and its associated keys. The Odyssey is the search of each relevant planet for any clues or her Primus willing actual artifacts. And our central character that we'll be growing with for the entire trilogy is Rodimus Prime, as he goes from the young Autobot who is haunted by what could have been based on one single mistake to a confident Autobot commander. I'm giving the Chosen One time to breathe and actually let his arc, grow.
Fair enough. Ah!
Yay.
I was surprised attacked by gravity and demons.
As for antagonists, our first arc will comprise Unicron and associated minions. In this particular case, Galvatron and the movie crew. Well, the 86 crew, anyway.
Thank you for that differentiation.
Because there's a bunch of movies now. I have to be specific. Though I could see retooling some Bayverse characters to exist in this universe. I don't think Barricade in particular was, DOA.
Barricade was pretty good. I like Barricade.
The Decepticons having a bad cop to Prowl's quote-unquote good cop made an interesting, counterpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I've heard people joke that Prowl in Transformers the Animated is not actually all he's Beachcomber. Or maybe Hound. Actually, given the hologram projector, yeah, he basically is just Hound. The personality lines up, the powers line up. Anyway, we will have Optimus and Starscream as the respective leaders of their factions struggling to come to an alliance to
cosplay to go see Demon Slayer.
Huh? Say again?
What was that about Demon Slayer?
Plushies.
Something about plushies.
Ah.
Knowing Silas the way I do, he's trying to pick one to bring to the
Modern
movie.
day sodomy. I'm debating whether to cosplay Genya or
Just take the plushie. Called it.
yes.
Honestly, that is a good question, and I
I got
see.
Rengoku, I got Saname, I got Akaza, I got Tanjiro, and I have Giyu.
Well, the question becomes, which one would be the most comfortable option?
Nope.
Like, if you know, you're probably going to be out for a while, not just... Sorry. I was just saying, you're probably going to be out for a while, so what would be more comfortable to walk around with / in would probably be ideal.
If I'm in my Demon Slayer gear, at least, like my Tanjiro earrings, my freaking Demon Slayer shirt, pair of pants. I know they won't allow katanas into the theater, so I can't bring some Megenya's katanas, even though they're wooden.
I mean, first off, they probably wouldn't know they're wooden, and second off,
That's not
you know...
my other Hasbuda earring now. Damn it.
And also,
One's missing.
even a wooden sword hurts.
I mean, yeah, sure, a wooden sword hurts, but, like...
I'm at least gonna wear my Tanjiro. Yeah. So I'm just debating on which carrot. One's glass rubber and one wooden. Where's Tanjiro's other earring?
The point I'm making is better safe than sorry.
Damn it, of course I lose one of Tanjiro's earrings. Yeah, I know.
I'm well aware of
I'm
that
just debating
frustration.
what Demon Slayer shirt to wear and trying to find Tanjiro's other earring.
Yeah, I am very familiar with that frustration.
So at least I can have some level. I might either do Rengoku or Tengen because I have a custom Rengoku plus. I have a custom Rengoku plus. I might bring him. Because you can literally change his outfit. Or I bring my giant ass Tengen.
Whatever you choose to do, have fun.
Or I show support for the demons and grab Akaza. I mean, Akaza is literally the inspiration between my current hair color. It's pink.
Ah.
It's Jordan pink. The Sakura.
I do love the slight pause when Silas realized...
We can't see.
Oh, right, they can't see my hair.
So, yeah. 3 seasons.
Yeah, I sent a picture to chat once when I dyed it initially, because I dyed it myself. Up a little Gyu bracelet, that works.
So the first one will largely follow a kind of a hybrid of the plots of Armada and the original 1986 movie.
Okay.
With a little of Mass Effect thrown in for spice. You've already seen some of the hints there. And I do believe I hinted at this before, but the surviving Solarians on their colony worlds and on the Citadel, as well as any other respective stations, they're going to be crucial for the final part of that story arc. Thank you for the fact that the Solarian Counselor is still very much alive. Our second arc will largely follow the arrival of another Unicronian servant, now that Galvatron has been disposed of, as Megatronus takes the stage.
Ah, yes.
Leading a cult of Unicron worshippers who are working to restore their master. Yeah, the part of Energon I'm bringing back is the attempted revival of Unicron. By this point, Rodimus is a newly minted commander, having just ascended, and he's still feeling out his responsibilities. He's gonna have one hell of a trial by fire, though. The conclusion of this arc will lead into the stuff with the Crusader Cons, as I'm calling them, to borrow a joke name from IDW.
You want to know something funny? In the universe where Draculus and Frankentron are from, they were part of a group, or rather species, called the Monster Bots, and their enemies were called the Crusader Gods.
Even funnier knowing that the Monster Bots are an actual Autobot faction.
Yep.
For those of us who are not familiar, the Monster Bots comprise of Double Cross, now Twinferno because of copyright reasons, Repugnus, and I'm trying to remember the name of the third one, because there were 3 of them. Just a moment. Grotesque. The Monster Bots, as described by TF Wiki, are a team of Autobots that transform into strange and powerful, typically monstrous, beasts. Among their other abilities, all 3 are capable of shooting a destructive spray of fiery sparks from some part of their anatomy in beast mode. As a group, they tend towards the rabble-rousing, trouble-making, order-flaunting, morally gray end of the Autobot morality spectrum. They've also been known to have a drink or two. In the Japanese G1 continuity, these guys were built by Wheeljack. Which, you know, I have mentioned this to Bear before, but I can totally see us using that for their origin.
Yeah.
Closest we got to an origin for them in terms of the G1 cartoon was their commercial, where they were the result of an experiment to build new Autobots gone horribly wrong. So I suggested, well, we did bring back Wheeljack for this, and they did end up signing a law into existence that prevented him from building more Dinobots. Ones built prior to the law going into effect are exempt. So, almost as if in a display of rebellion, Wheeljack builds not dinosaurs, but monsters.
Well, if you won't let me make dinosaurs, then I'll make these. It's like, oh, Wheeljack.
You're missing the point, Jackie.
And Soundwave looks at, I think it was Rapungus. Just goes,
Repugnus.
Repugnus. Why does this one have teeth? And it
Why
tries.
wouldn't it have teeth?
And then it tries to bite his finger. Oh.
Because, for those who are unfamiliar, Repugnus is more bug-like than his companions. Kind of like a monstrous praying mantis thing. Let me see if I can get a visual here for those of us in the stream chat right now. These are the Japanese releases of their Titans of Turn figures, but it'll do. From left to right, we have Repugnus, Double Cross, aka Twinferno, and Grotesque. Funny enough, these guys are the closest Autobots to a very particular planet in terms of, like, friends with their population. Going back to the Japanese G1 continuity here, the planet was called Beast. You're about to say, Silas?
I don't know if this button does.
Until Silas returns to say whatever he was gonna say. I think you're having mic trouble again. Right, Planet Beast. Are you familiar with a toy line called Battle Beasts?
It sounds familiar.
They were another Hasbro Takara thing where they were anthropomorphic animals that had power over one of three elements: fire, water, and wood. They had a few bears in this toy line.
Ooh.
Well, in Japan, instead of being their own unique thing, these guys were folded into the Transformers mythos. Native to the planet Beast, their species name was Beastformer.
Oh.
No, they were not capable of transforming like Cybertronians. The name is head-scratchingly confusing.
I figured it out!
Yay.
Damn it!
Well, at least you know what to do now. So, in both versions of their lore, they were animal people who were augmented with cybernetic components. They're basically animal cyborgs.
Got it.
They were introduced in Transformers The Headmasters, their anime, as a sort of backdoor pilot. As much like with Nebulous before them, Autobots and Decepticons alike crash landed on this planet and had to make nice with the population in order to get the resources to leave. The leader of this planet is a white lion with an eye patch. A Tiger Man leads the Rebellion faction, who is dissatisfied with the planet's peaceful leadership. Aside from the whole eye patch thing, does this sound familiar?
Yes.
It's even funnier when you realize Lio Convoy exists. So, yeah. As of the release of the Titans Return toy line in Japan, these Beastformers were brought back into the Transformers lore with a sort of twist. This time, courtesy of Masterforce, Headmaster's sequel series. Turns out the Autobots decided to make more Master Braces. Master Braces, for those who are unfamiliar, was effectively a way of giving organic species a form of power armor robotic exosuit that allowed them to transform into whatever is handy for a Cybertronian, be it an engine or a head or a weapon. You can shoot the switches, right? Evidently not. This is confusing.
It's a kind of weight puzzle. Because I step on one of those platforms and the thing either rises or doesn't. Stepping on here causes the cage to go down. Stepping over here causes the platform that he is on to go up. Hitting that button causes the cage to rise. And hitting this button causes it to go down. Or causes the platform to go down.
head hurts. This is not that complicated a puzzle. This would be easier if A, you could shoot the switches, and B, you had a jump button.
Yep. Wait a minute. Damn it.
So, yeah, in the Legends manga, circa 2011 or so, I believe, like, however long it's been since Titan's return, the Beast Former people came back, and through the use of Master Brace technology, gave themselves the exosuits required to formally partner up with Cybertronians. I bring this up because several of their number were the heads of the monster bots in the toy line.
Oh.
A few more newer characters for that series, again developed specifically for this manga, would end up taking on Target Master role. Which leads us to one of the oddest characters introduced, the younger sister of the planet's king, who became Blur's Target Master.
Populagevgu? Thank you for the follow. There's a 10-minute timer for new follows. Before you can.
Because we kept getting bots, salesmen, bot salesmen, and sales bots.
Yeah, before you can talk in the chat. So, and I am.
The sound alerts are available at any time. Just stay away from ones with names or labeled only. I'm stepping on your toes. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm trying to figure out how to solve this damn puzzle. What the fuck?
It was so simple the whole time, wasn't it?
Let me show you how simple it was. No, wait, hold on. This one? Yeah.
Oh my freaking... Well, you got it now. That's all that matters.
I wanna, like... I want to strangle whoever came up with this level.
I just want to leave a mini nuke from Fallout in that room.
Oh, fuck. Is there a way back out?
Let's hope so.
It does not look like it. I believe I have fucked myself. Won't be the first time. It's the problem with having invincibility.
And then having to wait for all your armor to melt. Couldn't we just load a save file? Didn't you save before getting that thing?
I don't know. That's the problem.
Like, I remember you saving in the puzzle. Or maybe you didn't.
Wait.
I may have just screwed you over. I'm
No,
sorry.
no. No, you didn't screw me over. What the fuck?
There is some lag here.
There we go. Damn it. Almost.
Do you have always sprint on?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, wait. I didn't. Well.
Well, there you go. If you got up there and didn't have auto run on, you would have fallen instead of making that jump.
Alright, I'm gonna save. Yes. Okay. And we are gonna end it here, folks, because fuck this level.
Uh-huh.
Oh. Now I remember why I was so hesitant to play Doom again. Old Doom,
Well,
at least.
We wanted to do the story from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
We could easily have just went straight to 2016, but
Nope.
no. That'd be too easy.
Alright, so, as always, this has been Vegas Bear 92
With Mekumon.
with... Nope. With the mumbled sounds of Silas. Why did I say Cyrus?
Because you're quite used to me playing characters by that name.
You know what? That's probably it. Taro, if you're still there, I still want to hear the story of how you got abandoned by a bus. No stream tomorrow because it's my day off. What else? Right, Thursday will be the hopefully final episode of Super Robot Wars 30. And I may have a shorter game ready for Thursdays, just for a little bit, so we can, have a bit of a palate cleanser.
And then we return to Matanui Island on Friday.
Yep. With Deltarune on Saturdays, schedules permitting. So, if you like what we do and want to see us keep doing it, feel free to support us in any way you wish.
Be it monetarily, engagement, YouTube subscription, sharing us around, you know the drill, every little bit helps.
Yep. And as always, stay safe, stay comfy, stay hydrated, and stay healthy. Always be good to each other, and we'll see y'all on the next one.
And remember, have patience with older Doom games.
Peace.